You're very welcome along to another video, this time focused on the Aintree Day 2 preview. I'll preview all the races and include my final selections for each race. Before I do, let's have a quick look at how Day 1 went, which overall I was very happy with, and there was a couple of crossbars hit, which I'll get into now. So I'm going to start with the bad news. Disappointing performance from Manila Study. I was just never happy with how he travelled. I guess he just didn't come out of the race well from Cheltenham, but looking back, Manage 2 was definitely doable. The fresh horse versus those perhaps tired or over the top Triumph horses. So disappointed in that and got off the start that we didn't want. And when you're in that sort of funk, you're there like, is this going to be one of those days? But was absolutely delighted to see Cocktail Divin's performance. Now, it was obviously helped by the unseat on Lulamba, but I thought Cocktail Divin was sensational, and he did just idle in front. So when Paul Nicholls' horse came towards him, he did kick on again and showed that he can stay the 2.5 mile trip for sure, given he ran over 3 last time out. So I was delighted with his performance and his victory, and it made an exciting horse for next season for sure. On to Imperi Pass, and this was because he was in and out of travelling well. He was definitely travelling better than he did in the Ryanair, but Paul was just getting happy with him, looking around him, and I did think he was going to give Django Boy a really good race. I'd be interested in the exact exchange prices when he did fall down, but it was a crushing fall, so I was relieved to see he got up okay, and Paul got up okay as well, which was great. So disappointing in that, but Django Boy, look, he might have outstayed us up the long run in Aintree. Who knows? Probably the best performance, or the one I was just buzzing with the most, Brighter Days Ahead. She was just unbelievable, and I think this trip, Aintree, she's a great record there. I just don't think Cheltenham and the undulating track really suits her. I'd be surprised if we even see her in Cheltenham again. I think she'll maybe be kept fresh for Aintree going forward and running Leopardstown, and maybe a Punchestown at the end of the season. But she was just unbelievable, and I thought it was a great ride from Jack Kennedy as well. Kicked on at the right time, closed the door on Harry Skelton, and yeah, he's probably as good a jockey as there is out there. And then the nap of the day, 440 Sandsbrute. Look, he ran his probably similar level to what he did the last 2 years. There was just 2 horses, including Ryan's Rocket, that beat him. So disappointing to get third there, considering he went off favourite. But Jesco de Dam, delighted with that performance to finish 4th for Henry. And a bit of place money. I know officially it was actually only 3 places, so I won't be counting that. But for anyone who got 4 places there, you would have got your each way returns there. So overall, pretty decent day. Happy enough with it. Let's go on to Aintree Day 2. And before I do, if you are enjoying the content and you can take 2 seconds, hit that like button and subscribe completely for free to the channel. It helps me continue making these videos. And believe it or not, I keep saying every week, but 90% plus of people who watch the videos aren't. Let's go on to Day 2. And I'm going to start with the opening race, the 145. And full disclosure here, is very close to putting up the favourite here, Indavar Blue for Ollie Murphy. He actually put up one of his other horses here. But the reason I actually ended up on Wellington Arch is he won this race last year off 1-2-3. Now he's a full stone heavier than he was this time last year, so you could argue he's not as well handicapped, but I just think this horse has improved a lot this season. Can come here, reminders of the track, and I feel he could have another big performance. And because he was a bigger price than the favourite, that's ultimately why I went and came down on him. Full warning, there's going to be a lot of big prices today, so it may not be as good a day as yesterday. But John Joe's team are actually flying at the moment. Some good horses coming into form over the last couple of weeks, and I feel he's primed for a massive race and perhaps a repeat victory here. So Wellington Arch at a double figure price is a horse that interests me. The second one is Active Authority. Now, full disclosure, I've been a big believer in this horse for the last couple of years, and I backed him both years in the Martin Pipe when he finished second to Woodoo. That's not bad form, that turned out. And obviously he came 5th last month at Cheltenham. Last year, what they did, they upped him to 3 miles for a handicap at Aintree. Didn't quite happen for him. Don't think he's a 3 miler. Maybe he will be in time, and perhaps next year could be a race for him. But he comes here in a 2.5 mile again, and I just feel at a big price, he's a horse that could just end up placing once again. And I feel you're getting something like 16-1. I think he's worth taking at the prices. So yeah, it's 2 ultimately against the field. As I said, it was very close to back in the favour for Ollie Murphy. The case is very obvious. St. Stephen's Day won at Aintree and it's been kept fresh, had a wind up. But I've gone with Wellington Arch and Active Authority. Wouldn't put you off the favourite either as well. Let's move on to the 220. And I do think, while this is a competitive grade 1, it's definitely not a classic. And when you have 4 horses vying for favouritism, that's usually the case. So I'm taking one at a price for the Skeltons, and it's Doyen Quest, who is a horse who has form tied in with Salver, obviously well beat for the last couple of times and runners up to him, but he comes in as a fresh horse and would have been targeted at Aintree versus Salver, who came 3rd in the Brian Advisory and is coming here. Look, he's obviously got who's the more likely winner between the two of them? I'd still go Salver, but I just feel Doyen Quest, fresh horse, front runner, and if he's allowed to dictate in front, he could get a lot of these in trouble. As I said, I'm not a fan of, there's reasons to take on all 4 of the favourites. who are vying for favoritism. Like at the time recording, I couldn't tell you who's going to go off favorite. But yeah, I'm just going to take a chance on Doyen Quest at a price. Nothing in the 255. I do think Sober Glory is the best horse and will win. Moving on to Solness, and I do like Hardwood. I was very impressed with his Ryanair win. If you ask me to pick the most likely winner, it's Hardwood for Henry de Bromhead. I feel he could kick on again. I do like him. I do think he's the best of these. But I'm just going to take a chance on Solness, who is up to 2.5 miles. He's obviously a 2-mile specialist, and when he's allowed to dictate in front, he's just sensational to run out in front. He's getting older every single year, and he has been kept fresh for this. And I just feel the extra trip, maybe if they get the fractions right in front, he could be one to dictate. I just couldn't let him go on back here. For those that haven't been watching me for a while, I'm a massive Solness fan, and it's been paid dividends at Leopardstown a number of times. Hasn't quite happened maybe outside that track, but I feel that Aintree, 2.5 miles, decent enough ground. Solness, if he's again allowed to dictate out in front, he could be one at a price. So yeah, a lot of big prices going up here. He's double figures as well. The 405, I did want to bring the plate form into it, and I do think Madara is a grade 1 horse in the handicap where he was. Now he has gone up £10 for that, but in the Topham, I don't know, I feel we could see a proper performance, not too dissimilar to the Grand National Fences today with Barton Snow. I think we could see something similar with Madara. I just was blown away by him. Had him backed, obviously, at Cheltenham, and he was sensational. Now, I am going to take that form, though, with it, because Will the Wise did finish second. He was off a mark of 139, and as mentioned, Madara's gone up £10. Will the Wise has only gone up £2, plus Connor Stonewalsh comes in for the ride, takes up 3. So I do think he could get a lot closer to Madara, and I didn't want to be like maybe chinned by Will the Wise and not put him up. So I'm basically taking the place that the form's going to continue from Cheltenham to Aintree. Obviously very risky there, but if you want to be sure of that, back the 2 of these horses, Madara and Will the Wise. And then last but not least, my nap of the day is Zeus Power, because I can't really make an argument that the Albert Bartlett is a better race than the Turners, and I think Zeus Power will be really suited to this step up and trip. I work a lot with Matt Toombs, who's a Cheltenham trends expert, but a trends expert in general. And he gave me the stat that horses that haven't run over further than 2.5 miles going into this race, you would actually be in profit back in overall. Basically what that means is people are more concerned about the trip in this specific race than they should be. And Zeus Power stepping up, yeah, I can see a massive performance. I actually think Zeus Power will go off favourite here, and I think he'll win. So yeah, that's my nap of the day. Thanks a million for listening. Really appreciate all the kind support. As I said, all I ask, if you take 2 seconds, hit that like button, comment who you think will win. I'll be back for my Grand National video. Now, full disclosure, I won't be recording it after day 2 as I'm away. So it'll be a shorter video just giving you my thoughts for the Grand National mainly, and then the couple of races before it as well. So that'll be in your feed tomorrow. But enjoy the weekend sports, cracking racing, and chat to you soon. Bye-bye.